going on? It's Casual Gamer Dad. Over the holiday, I was talking to my sister-in-law and wanted to get her exposed to Seven Days to Die because I thought she would like it based on some of the video games that she already played. And I realized I had a really hard time explaining to her what the game was because it is such a vast game. And I thought, why not throw together a little video that explains what Seven Days to Die is in less than 10 minutes, so you can recruit all sorts of your friends or coworkers or family to also play this game. Because I know the player base is just growing with the number of people that are loving Alpha 17 right now. So let's help the Fun Pips out here. So, what is Seven Days to Die? It is a post-zombie apocalypse, open-world, first-person, survival horror, tower defense, and role-playing game, which is a mouthful. You got all sorts of various kinds of combat, from melee combat to ranged combat with bows and arrows, firearms, Molotov cocktails. You have crafting, looting, mining, exploring, and character progression. You can do that in the fixed world, the Navezgane world, which is a pre-generated world that the Fun Pips tailor. Or you can do a random gen world, which is my personal preference. So when you start a game, you have very little items. You have no clothes, other than your, breeches, just to cover your private parts. And you have a little bit of food, a little bit of water, a torch, a first aid bandage, and a land claim block. We can talk about that later. You'll spend time gathering resources like plant fiber, stone, wood, ore, etc., to make stone axes and wooden clubs and those kind of things with bows, stone arrows. Eventually you'll progress into iron and steel weapons. You'll find traders, sell loot, buy gear, craft armor and weapons. You'll find, firearms and the ammo for those. Eventually being able to craft your own ammo. All to survive against the zombies. The other interesting thing, the big overlying thing, 7 days to die, right, is every 7 days a horde of zombies will come to eat you. And you will need to be prepared. So you're spending a lot of time building, preparing, fortifying, looting, leveling. It's this time management kind of survival game where you can build with wood, scrap metal, cobblestone early in the game. Eventually you'll be building with concrete and steel. Could use traps. Normally you start off with wood spike traps, maybe iron on your first horde night if you're really moving right along. Blade traps, dart traps, electric traps, turrets, shotgun turrets, machine gun turrets that you can advance to later in the game. Also, you can craft explosives for mines. Molotov cocktails are great for horde defense. And so as you're building this base, you're also going to be building certain crafting stations. And the land claim block is something you can put down that if you're in a multiplayer world, it kind of lets everyone know this is your area and they can't really build in it. Now each server has different settings involved in that. It also allows you to move crafting stations. So if you put a forge down, you can move it. You can pick it up and put it somewhere else. So again, the game is really just puts the pressure on you through time management. During the day, the zombies, in default settings, the zombies walk. At night, they run. So in an early game, when you don't have a miner's helmet or some sort of light during the night, it gets a little terrifying. And especially without armor or good weapons, right? Where you got to be a little more patient, killing the zombies, a little more tactical. Where later in the game, when you have a lot more firearms, you can kind of go a little more fast and loose. So, you're spending time looting for better gear or cash, right? Or valuable things to go sell to the trader versus preparing for the horde night, building your base, gathering resources, gathering stone or wood or whatever you plan to build your first horde base out of. You got to manage your food supply, your water supply. You can eventually make a farm and actually have a farm going. You can hunt animals for meat. You'll be managing those. Hey, how close am I to the 7 day horde? Okay, I got through that one, awesome. And then the 14-day horde is only just around the corner. It's going to be harder. They get progressively harder as the longer you're alive, the higher level you are. It all kind of scales with you. And then handling screamer zombies. So say you build a really awesome base, you got forges going and campfires going, you're cooking a bunch of stuff, making a bunch of stuff, you will attract screamer zombies. Now screamer zombies, when they see you, they scream and they attract more zombies. And they can turn into quite a problem, especially now in Alpha 17. So I'd also like to put a little disclaimer in there that, this is I'm talking about this game from the perspective of Alpha 17. There's obviously going to be further updates in the future, so some of this might not be true. Some things might change. I might add more to it. This is not a comprehensive guide. This is just hey, here's overall what this is. I know my one-liner for most people is, it's like Minecraft with zombies and better graphics, which I think is kind of true, with an RPG element to it, and a little bit more of a straightforward crafting system, I suppose. Yeah, you can eventually get vehicles like bicycle, the mini bike, the motorcycle, the gyrocopter, this 4x4, a lot of new things in Alpha 17. I imagine it's only going to expand from there. I know there was talk of boats, there was talk of zip lines, and all sorts of different things that you can eventually have in the game. So if you're looking at this video from the perspective of someone who hasn't played it, I highly recommend it. I have probably at least 1,000 hours in this game. 1,017 hours right now. And for the price, I mean, if you think about a game that, a AAA title, that's $50 that you might get 40 hours out of. I mean, this is something that for $10 right now is what it is on Steam. I think, original price is $25. It's a game that you get your money's worth out of. And it's just continually getting better. At this point, I mean, there's not a lot of story to it. There's talk about there being stories. They're adding quests to the game now in Alpha 17, which are really fun to go clear out zombies or clear out a house. It doesn't really feel like you're driving towards a goal other than survival. So that could be a downside, but at the same time, it's just such a fun game to play, especially when you get your friends involved in it. I know I play with my wife. We'll set up a little server just locally that we can play together. We've talked about actually purchasing a dedicated server from a service to play on, but it's just one of those kind of games that I think a vast audience can enjoy. I mean, we kind of tend to specialize where she's a ridiculous sniping character. She's very good. She loves to do the farming and the cooking and all that stuff, and not to sound chauvinist, but that's awesome because I hate doing the managing of that. I mean, it's fun for a little bit, but once it gets kind of huge, it's a little annoying. She's great at going to loot. She hates mining. I don't mind the mining. I don't mind the gathering of the resources. I find it kind of therapeutic. So she'll be kicking down doors, killing zombies, and getting all the good stuff while, I'm out pounding on rocks and cutting down trees and, just doing random stuff outside. So it's everyone can kind of find their little niche, and you'll find your balance as you go along. But that's my opinion of the game. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this is something that, was useful to you. If it was, by all means, like, share, subscribe. I have some guide videos here. I have some Let's Plays. I'll put those in the outro cards. So I hope you enjoyed, and have a good one.